election must take place.
Apollo Semuagu, INEC chairman was represented by the chairman of the board of the Electoral Institute. There was a prepared test. He read from it on Wednesday. And then he said, due to rising insecurity, INEC may be forced to postpone or cancel election. A backlash came. 2 days after, the INEC chairman says, come rain, come shine, the elections we hold. What must have happened?
I wish you good morning once again. Good morning, my colleagues, and good morning, dear listener. Let me start from the issue of PVC. I will keep saying until the 15th of January, have you picked your PVC? Before you pick up your PVC, you can as well go to crv.inecnigeria.org to know if your PVC is ready and where you can pick it up. crv.inecnigeria.org to help you know if your PVC is ready and where you can pick it from. Amaechi, what the INEC chairman has done has doused tension a lot, because this is the kind of encouragement some persons want to hear. Because we have said here oftentimes that an aide to a minister or to government will go and say something, and the following day the government, the boss will reject and we dispute it and say, no, I didn't send him to say that. He didn't confide in me before going to say that the election will postpone, probably will postpone. So it's good enough that the boss himself has said election must hold, and election is sacrosanct. The 25th of February is sacrosanct for presidential and national assembly election, and 11th of March for governorship and state house of assembly election. I mentioned there's a perception which we need to talk about here, that the perception is some persons were arguing the other day that people that keep saying go and pick up your PVC are tilting towards a political party, and that is a perception that is growing. If people are encouraging others to pick up their PVC, it doesn't mean that there's a movement somewhere and they are tilting towards that direction. I said yesterday.
Once someone asks you as citizens to vote wisely, they deem it to mean that he's supporting a particular political candidate.
Obvious.
The other parties get angry.
Yeah, it is obvious, Amaechi. There is an obedient movement online, and there is a campaign. There's this movement that's called obedient movement. And when people keep saying, have you picked up your PVC? Some others get offended and say, oh,
why would they get offended?
No, that is why I said yesterday that there's no political party that has the monopoly of young persons. INEC, good enough, INEC has come to say that the large population of those that are registered are farmers and youth. So you have farmers across Nigeria, you have youth across Nigeria, you have farmers in APC and PDP and Labour Party.
Absolutely.
So I think political parties, what they need to do is to re-strategize. If you feel...
Go and mobilize your own youth.
If you feel that there is a movement that is tilting towards one direction, you have a responsibility to also re-strategize. And forget about the jabs and the stunts others are doing. Make your own and capture those that are not with you already.
Teve, perhaps you may explain what happened within INEC that there's a U-turn.
You asked me
as an analyst.
Yesterday when we were discussing this, my position was very clear, on this, and I intentionally did not speak to the issue of whether elections will hold or not. I was talking about the beavers, those who were saying, and those who are saying they should remove Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. I'm never bothered when they talk about this election will be cancelled, will be postponed, and it's been there they've been saying that for very long. I'm never bothered about it. Why? The reasons are very clear. One, INEC setting this date, we know. Like I said, in 2011, they postponed the election. In 2015, in 2019. So, the unthinkable would be for them not to postpone. Which is why I listened carefully to the INEC chairman yesterday. And what was he saying? Which is what most papers or most media houses are not even talking about. He said, look, we are already moving election materials across the country. He said they are already moved because in 2011 it was logistics. In 2019 it was logistics. It was only in 2015 that it was for security reasons. So he said they are already moving election materials across the country, which gives some sense of hope that look, they will not come on the 24th and tell us that look, because of logistics and this, so we are going to shift this. And even if they shift the elections, I mentioned the law is very clear. There will only be a constitutional or legal crisis if by April 29, INEC is unable to conduct the elections. Because the law says...
So they have the remainder of March and most parts of April
to do. Because the law says, look, for election will be conducted 30 days to hand over. You know, so they have up till April 20. So if they like, let them postpone it, whatever it is.
No,
we'll talk about.
So in the case of the runoff as
Thank
well.
you.
In the
If
case
there
of
is
the
a
runoff,
runoff,
they still have 30 days to
the
conduct
constitution
elections.
says you must conduct a runoff within 21 days. So they have to bring it down
You know, I mean,
so that the
understand-
29th will fall, take into consideration that possibility of runoff.
Understand this. Understand this. As long as the elections is held on the April 29,
Yes.
that position of the law has been satisfied.
Okay.
It has been satisfied. It is because the election has been held. It's only a return that has not been made.
Yes, so
because
the runoff can fall
go,
into-
you know, and all of
Okay.
that. So it's very clear. So whatever it is, whatever they are doing there, let's see how it will eventually, you know, work towards, you know. But everybody we must be vigilant and watch and be careful to ensure that, you know, the right things are done and moving forward. I'm also looking at January 25, 24, 25, because INEC by law has to also give, just the way they gave the voter register to the political parties, in 1 month to the election, they must also inform the political party or give them records of the number of persons that have collected their PVCs. That's what the law says. You know, so we wait to see what they will say with the figures they will provide, because all these 193 point something million people are shouting. Those are not the people that will vote. Out of those 93, don't forget, some of us registered in 2010, some in 2011. Some have died. I can tell you almost 10 million or more of people have either died or something over the last how many years. So
All the jackpot.
exactly. And then some person even relocation and all of that. So
And some persons on our set, they swear that they have double registration. They have to PVCs. When we
Don't
get
ask
to meet
me for
them,
names.
when we get to no, one of them obliged us with the name and explain how we got it. But Hizoje, let's get your comments. Hizoje Momo.
Good morning, Amechi. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, listener. Well, I didn't expect anything less from the INEC authorities. When I listened to the INEC chairman yesterday saying that it was not the official position of the commission, I just knew that was it. The commissioner, the question I will ask is that message or that the address he read. Do we begin
Chairman
to,
of the Electoral Institute.
should we begin to vet these addresses? Or what do we say, Amechi, so that we know who is speaking? Because the issues that have been raised also.
He came up and said he was representing the INEC chairman and read from a prepared text, purportedly from the INEC chairman.
Because usually some of these texts are sent. If you are representing somebody, sometimes it can send you.
They send it to you and say, go and read.
it. Or if you have something to read, what you should do is either send it to him because whatever you are saying is supposed to be on behalf of the INEC chairman. So, but let's just say the INEC chairman has come out to say that is not the position of the commission, and it's something that Nigerians really want to hear, because anything that has to do with postponement or trying to look as if we want to have a repeat of what happened during the Jonathan era, most people, it will definitely dampen morale. And then on the issue of the PVCs, there are still people who are still finding it difficult to get their PVCs. The numbers, the INEC ruled out 49 for point something for men, 44.4 for the million for women. Those numbers are also beginning to shape for those the political gladiators. You see the numbers: Lagos this number, Kano this number. So you can begin to see. You can begin to look closely and begin to say, okay, the permutation now. Even though we know the 93 will not come, but it could definitely, tell you how this is my stronghold or this is my strong. So those issues definitely will form part of the in-house discussions right now going forward with that data. Then the president meeting with Catholic bishops.
Well, maybe if we have time after our break, we'll touch on it. But what INEC chairman also said yesterday, that with 44 days as of yesterday to the election, that never in the history of INEC have they been this fast, based on the
11 activities.
Yes, activities lined up and the ones they have carried out. So they appear to be ahead of time comparatively with previous election. Now, when INEC chairman made that statement through the chairman of the board of the Electoral Institute, there were reactions. The government was forced to react the very next day. Perhaps when INEC was making that statement, it didn't quite realize the import. The statement, if you interrogate that statement, there's every need for that statement to be made, because there are huge security concerns
Are you sure?
across the
Are you
country.
sure he didn't add to the content he was sent to?
So they should explain to us.
I mean,
They should explain to us.
You know, it's just based on experience that Nigerians
Yes.
are, you know, reacting the way they are reacting. The electoral law anticipates this and is very clear. INEC, if a date has been set, INEC cannot cancel or say elections will not hold. He said the electoral law says in the places that elections cannot hold, the elections will not hold on that day. And if at the end of the collation it's discovered that, you know, the number of registered voters there, if all of them vote, it will change the outcome of the election. That is when we now start looking for supplementary and all of that. If not, a return will be made.
But you know the law empowers INEC to shift the election based on insecurity.
Sure, it does.
Yes.
But elections must hold.
And that's what you think. And that is what should be. Now, when there are security concerns, we can't run away from it. Now, what INEC was saying was that even if we hold the election, and that was what part of the speech, if we hold the election and the margin of difference is between the leading candidate and the other is lower than the registered voters or PVC collected in areas we are unable to conduct election because of insecurity, the election will not be concluded. These are part of it. Now, when they made that statement, the reaction that came, perhaps they didn't expect it, and perhaps they were forced to clarify that statement, which was what the chairman did.
What I would just have to say on this is, like, at times kites are flown, and I don't want to go into that conspiracy theory of kites being flown. But the fact is that someone represented the chair of INEC somewhere, made a statement from a prepared text. The backlash came, and the INEC chairman said, "No, that's not our position. We can't." So we are optimistic that INEC will follow through on its own timetable. But let's run with that optimism. It may be a cautious optimism
coming from the chairman.
Yeah, but we need to be looking at them with our 4 eyes.
Yes.
If we have 4
so
eyes.
we need to give them the support to indeed realize that optimism. Let's quickly share some of the mails you have sent to our email platform.
Thank you, Amici. Welcome to the mail segment.